My wife and I took turns hosting a bi-weekly party with our usual group of 5 other couples on Super Bowl Sunday. To get up to speed, we started early, at 5 o'clock, with pre-game warm-ups at our apartment. At first, my wife and I fiddled around, making sure everyone had a refill of their favorite beverage, and for all the obligatory oohs and ahs and requests for recipes, good luck offerings were made and snack bowls were refilled. Things began to settle down little by little. The women were almost up to date on the latest gossip, and the men thoroughly trashed each other's favorite team. The game was on. The drinking continued. As expected, the men were absorbed in watching the action and tried to outshout each other, explaining how they could have played this or that losing game better, if only they were the coach. Most of the women began to drift away, paying attention only to the mention, or, better yet, the snapshot, which the TV station was happy to provide, of a certain pop star celebrity. As usual, Buddy, who was one of those guys who thought his latest camcorder was the neatest thing ever, started snapping random shots of the increasingly drunken fun. When a break in the show started and everyone was gathered in one place, staring at the TV, he took a panning shot that captured everyone. Well, almost everyone. He then placed the camera on the edge of the table, continuing, as it turned out, to capture everyone's reaction to the show. He just left it there, turned on. By this time, everyone seemed to need an extra serving, and I was busier than a blue-ass flea, as my former British friend used to say, helping everyone freshen up and filling snack bowls. I was a little annoyed that my wife was nowhere to be seen to help. Once all that was done, I realized that I had a very urgent need to go to the bathroom. The door to the bathroom in the hallway was closed, so I assumed it had been used. Otherwise, it would have been open. I figured no problem. I'd just use the bathroom in the master bedroom. The door to the master bedroom was closed. Not only that, but when I jerked on the knob, I discovered it was locked. What? Then I heard it. A muffled, "Oh yeah, oh yeah!" I was stunned. I stumbled back into the living room. I mentally checked all the men present to find out who the bastard was. Was my brother-in-law the only one missing? I had just convinced myself I was going to kill him when he came back into the room. Innocence incarnate. I heard the sound of the toilet just flushing in the background. So, one more time, what? I knew my wife was riddled with alcohol like the rest of us, but had she really done away with me in the middle of our party? Before I could think about it, the main play began and the hall went wild with applause and whistling. Then there seemed to be a general need for more filler. I put my questions aside as I fussed with taking care of our guests and thought I would talk to her about it later. I never figured out how to bring it up, so I just pushed it to the back of my mind and let it slip away. It wasn't until 2 weeks later. It was Buddy's turn to lead the party. Of course, what happens whenever there's a guy in the crowd, a home movie buff, and a captive audience, he insisted on showing the latest epic he'd come up with. It was our Super Bowl party. Thankfully, he reduced it to group shots at halftime shows and wandering missing people. I hardly drank at all. I was too busy playing the role of host, so I clearly remember what was going on. Everything was happening as if in slow motion. The sound of the toilet flushing. That was my brother-in-law coming back from the toilet? A minute later, my sister returned, followed by my rather disheveled wife. What? What am I supposed to do now? Divorce seemed like a good option.